guys, welcome to my channel. Hi everybody, how you guys doing? Welcome again to my channel. My name is Naturally-Roshani here again with a video. Again, if you are a new subscriber, welcome to my channel. I share about mainly natural hair, I share about fitness, and I also share about corset training sometimes, and many vlogs, and I also share about my faith in Jesus. And today I will be yes, and welcome to my returning subscribers. Welcome back, thank you so much. So today I will be doing a continuation of my deliverance story, and I will begin from where I left off. We had a meeting, a pastor came in and we had a talk. My mom's husband apologized. Well, he said he was very remorseful of what he had done, and he said he was sorry, and that was it. And life moved on. So I kept going to high school, and I kept on sharing my story with I kept sharing my faith with other people. I kept on reading my Bible every day. And then one day out of the sudden, I stopped. Like when I would read my Bible, I would like not understand what I'm reading. Sometimes I would not even comprehend what I am reading at all. And during that time, I was also suffering from bulimia. I think I touched this topic on my other video. Yes, I would binge on food and I would feel so guilty, and then I would go to the bathroom and throw up the food. Okay, so that's basically bulimia. People that have the bulimia, they're suffering from bulimic episodes or whatever. That's what they do. They will eat and then feel guilty and then go ahead and throw up, and that will be the cycle until, you know, somebody gets delivered. Or like, you know, like for my side, we had a prayer with my youth teacher at that time, because I opened up to her and we prayed, and all of a sudden like it stopped. Okay, so now this time while I was reading my Bible, I would not understand anything. I would not even comprehend what I'm reading. Like, yeah, so I wouldn't understand. Like, and then my words, sometimes I'd forget what I just read. So that was some of the things that was going on. And I think at that time, I think there was a pastor that was called, I can't really remember, and I think he prayed for me or something like that, and I came back to normal, if I'm not mistaken. So life moved on, and I graduated from high school. And at this point I graduated from high school in 2005. So in 2004, I believe my aunt she got a job in New Jersey, so she moved out. And you know, it was a sad thing, but hey, what can you do? You know, the good thing is life had gone kind of like, you know, back to normal just a little bit. But like I was suffering from like eating disorders sometimes, and I was like, meaning like I would not, sometimes I skip my meals. Sometimes I would compare myself to other people, especially people on the magazine. So yeah, so I was still going through bad things. Okay, like bad mental issues, understand? So I graduated from high school, and then I went to college, and like that's when, you know, things were like so like I did so well the first semester, and then the second semester, like a few years later, like I did terribly, and I don't know why. Like my mind was not working. Like I would read something and I would forget what I read. Like I would not comprehend anything. Yeah, so and then again, so like, but like even today I don't even know how I did so. Like I don't even know why. Like I feel like God was with me. Like for real, like I don't even understand like how I even passed high school. Sometimes I even ask myself, how did I even pass high school? Sometimes I would like go to the hospital because of nose bleedings and stuff. Like I would stop going to school because of nose, like it was a lot of interruptions. Those are some stuff I forgot to tell you on my other previous videos, but I'm just bringing it up from here. So in 2008, I transferred from Montgomery College to Coppin State University. Even though sometimes at school, like I would like hear things in the bedroom, like I would lock my door sometimes, and when I wake up in the morning, like the door was unlocked. Like I don't know, like I was going through so many weird like supernatural stuff, like seriously. And I would pray Sometimes like I would suffer from like post-traumatic issues. Like what happened to me, I would have weird dreams about those things, like weird dreams about just weird dreams. Sometimes I would have dreams like somebody like is coming in the bedroom, like some greenish creatures in the bedroom. One time I was in one of the pastors that I used to go to their church at that time, and like this particular Sunday I didn't want to go back to school, so because it was late, so I decided like I was gonna sleep over to their house or whatever, so he can drop me off to school the next morning. So that night I had a weird dream, like there was this greenish creature that came to the bedroom. It was green, and it came to where I was sleeping. I could even remember like the hands it had like fur and stuff, and it was trying to like suck on my breast or whatever. But luckily, like for some reason I woke up and it kind of like disappeared. And also at that time I was in a relationship with somebody, and that somebody, you know, it was someone that I'm not married to today, but I was in a relationship with them. And then one time I was in their house, and I didn't want to go back to school because again it was late or whatever. So I spent their night in their house. He used to live with their cousin, so I and his cousin, we slept in the same bedroom, okay, and he was in the living room. Okay, so that night I had I woke up, you know how you wake up like in the middle of the night or whatever, and then I literally saw somebody that was sitting on a chair looking at me. It was like a dark figure. It was, I don't know if it was a man or whatever, but it was a dark figure that was sitting on it. There was a chair that was in the bedroom, sitting right there, just like looking at me like this. And then I thought like something was wrong with my eyes, so I did this, you know, try to like, but when, you know, but the figure was still there. And then you know how you do, you just get the blankets and you just like, you know, like you cover yourself, and then you just fall asleep. The next day I told the guy, he was kind of confused, like, what are you talking about? I told the pastor, he didn't do anything. I don't know if they knew what I was talking about, like these spiritual stuff. They didn't know what I was talking about. So those are the type of the things that I was suffering from. Also, like, this is a personal, I know everybody has gone through this. Like, you cannot be over here watching me and like say that you ain't never gone through it. Like I suffer from masturbation, like seriously, like terrible. Sometimes I thought I was gonna die and go to hell or whatever. But these are some of the stuff that I was going through. Some things are so personal, like I'll feel ashamed to like tell you. But yeah, so those are some of the things that were going on. Yeah, so in 2008, 2009, everything was good. I was in Coppin State, everything was good. So that's, and except for those weird stuff that was happening. And then in 2010, I didn't go back to school because obviously there was no school fees like I was told. And I was also going through some things about, you know, my mom saying that I'm wasting money, and you know, all the time you're wasting money. Why are you wasting money? Blah 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 blah. So some of the things, like, you're such a cunning person. And so see, these are some stuff that it pissed me off. And one time she said that, and I was like, you know what, I made a promise to God that I told God, I was so serious. And guys, like, this is what I'm trying to say. If you guys are, when you talk to God and you're serious, like, he listens to you, like when you're not playing around, God hears the heart. So I was like, Lord, I said, God, I don't want to finish my school in this house. Matter of fact, I want to get married. I want to find a family. I want to get married. I want to move out and stuff like that. So every time I was praying for a husband, blah blah blah. So one of the things that I forgot to tell you guys, when I graduated from high school, I was praying for a husband, okay, and stuff like this. I was praying to get married. I wanted to get married. I wanted to get out of that house, blah 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 blah. So in 2010, when I stopped going to school because I was told there was no school fees, so I came back home. So after I came back home from college, from Coppin State University, this is about 2010, there was this particular day that I was having a really bad headache. My head was throbbing so much, and I didn't know why it was throbbing this much. So that day, I think it was on Wednesday or something like that, if I'm not mistaken, we were supposed to go to a Bible study. And so we all went to this Bible study somewhere in Silver Spring, Maryland. And it was when we got into the building, it was a really, it looked very legit. Okay, people there, they had the music playing, the Christian music playing and everything. And the pastor came in, or the prophet came in. He was, prophesying to people, just touching people and praying for them. And then when he came to me, he was like, he called me up in the front. Like, I was the only one that was called up in the front. So he called me up in the front, and he was like, oh, you're very special. You're a very special child. You're a very special person. God has called you to do this, and that. So I want you to get. I want you to take this. So he gave me a little bottle of olive oil and water. They got a cup. They put the olive oil in the water. They put the olive oil in the cup and put water in the cup too. Like, they mixed it all up. The olive oil and the water mixed it all up together and told me to drink. So I took the cup and I drank the water mixed up with the olive oil, drank it. And as soon as I drank that water, guys, the concoction or whatever, like, I literally fell down. I hit the floor, and I don't remember what happened after that. So when I hit the floor, it was like a couple minutes later, somebody took me by my hand and raised me up. And guys, to tell the truth, I was feeling a little woozy. Like, I don't know how to say, because I've never drank in my life. I don't know how alcohol tastes like. I don't know how beer tastes like. I don't know what happens. I don't know how somebody feels when they high. But for real, like, I felt like I was high. Like, I was like, yeah, like, I was just, something changed. So that same day, they told my mom that, we're gonna come in tomorrow at 2 a.m. in the morning, and we're gonna finish it. We're gonna pray for her because she's very special. So the next day, 2 a.m. in the morning, we heard a doorbell. And mind you, when that happened to me, like, the next day, I realized that I was singing all the songs. Like, I was singing all the songs in 91.9. If you live in the Montgomery County area or the DC metropolitan area, you already know that 91.9 is a Christian channel, Christian radio station. So I was singing all the songs. Like, it's like I was like a prophet. Like, I knew it was going. Like, I could look at you and I would know, like, what you're thinking. Like, it's like I was a psychic. Like, it was so weird. So that day, the next morning, okay, so that 2 a.m. in the morning, the people came in, and now it was the prophet, it was another lady, and another short little man, all from Ghana, by the way, the lady from Kenya, 2 Ghana people, the prophet of Ghana, the little short man who was Ghanaian. And so they came in and they started praying for me. First of all, they started going all over the house, doing all kind of things. Like, I don't know, they went upstairs, they did some, I don't know what they did. They like anointed it or whatever. They went to the bathroom, they anointed it, came downstairs, they called me over there, and they started talking to me. They started saying, they prayed for me. And no, first they told me, oh, come over here, they set me on a chair, and they had a basin with water, and they put some olive oil in the water, and they had me put my 2 feet in the basin, and they started praying for me. As soon as they started praying for me, guys, my legs started shaking. I was shaking, and I had no strength. Like, I couldn't walk by myself. Somebody held me over, and then they stood me over. Somebody was like protecting me, like they were like protecting me at the back so I don't fall over. So the short guy began praying for me, and then as soon I hit the floor so hard, thank God it was carpet, hit the floor so hard, and then he started saying all these things. He started saying, oh, we're gonna release you because you've been bound, but right now we're releasing you. We're releasing you from this bondage. You've been chained with chains. Your legs are being chained with chains, and your arms are chained, but we're releasing. We're gonna release you right now. We're gonna release you. We're gonna release you. We're gonna release you. And then all of a sudden I was okay. Like, and then I got up. And then I was still kind of feeling woozy and stuff. Like, I wouldn't walk correctly. It's like, I don't know how to say it. Like, I had no strength. So they were done, and they left. Now the next day, guys, I was like a crazy, like I was like a crazy little girl, like a little young lady, because I was going, I got up and I started taking all the, I destroyed all the house, like I demolished like my mom's house, like the fridge. I took the food out, I threw it everywhere. I took the eggs, I smashed them on the floor. I took all the Jesus, or I don't know if we had a Jesus picture, I don't even know. I took it, I smashed it on the floor. Like I destroyed the radio. I did all, like I demolished the house. And then from there, I went to the neighborhood. Now this time my mom was with me. Okay, now this is like the only good thing like my mom has ever done for me. Like she stood with me that whole time that I was going through this situation. Like she was there with me. She never left me. She was holding me. I went outside. She was with me to the neighborhood. I started telling people about Jesus. Jesus loves you. You need to be saved. Blah 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 blah. I went to my neighbor's house. They were Catholic. I took all the Jesus, yeah, that's it. I took all their Jesus pictures and I smashed them on the floor. And then, guys, like seriously, like the countertop of the kitchen countertop, I don't know how I did this, but like I put my foot on top of the kitchen counter. Like, you know them horror movies where like you see people like doing crazy things, that people that are possessed, like they have like supernatural powers. Like I had this, like I stood up on the countertop, like with no help, no balance, no nothing. I didn't lose any balance, but I put my foot on top of the kitchen table, counter table, and I went over to the other side and I got off. I went to another house. I demolished that. Oh, thank God they never called the police, because I would have been in jail. I would have been in psychiatric ward or something, because yeah, but they never called the police. Like I think God blinded their eyes or whatever, so they don't think I'm crazy. So I went back in the house. Next day we went to Bible study, our Bible study now, because now this was a Friday. So we went on a Bible study on a Friday, our Bible study, and I started prophesying. And then all of a sudden the pastor of that church was like, oh my gosh, she has a divination spirit, because I was like telling them what's gonna happen, blah blah blah, with no uniform. Like I was just spitting things out. So they started praying for me and I started saying things like, oh, so the pastor commanded, oh, who are you, where you come from, blah blah blah. And then the demon inside of me was like, oh, I came from my mom's husband. It's my mom's husband's fault, but we're here, we're in her. So they went to the house, they came to our house, and they started praying, and they prayed for me, but it seems like nothing was happening. They gave me some grape juice, and they blessed it, and they gave it to me. I didn't want to drink it because like something was stopping. Like so weird, like it's like supernaturally I couldn't drink it, but all of a sudden they kept praying and I drank it. But I could tell inside like nothing had happened. It was like the demons inside of me, they were faking it or whatever. So they left and everything calmed down a little bit, but I could tell like something was not right, because it wasn't me. I could tell something not right. So the next day there was another pastor who came in and we told him everything what had happened, and he started praying. He prayed and then I started shaking. I started screaming, like a weird scream, like shrieking came out of my voice. I shrieked, and then I fell down, and then I think I was okay. For I was okay this time. The Thanksgiving holiday in 2010, I went to a church that my mom and the family was going to. That's a church that the pastor came in and talked to us about whatever the dude had done to me, whatever. Yeah, and he led us to Christ or whatever. So that's the church that I went to. So that Sunday I came to church. And then went back to Baltimore, because at that time I was going to Baltimore because I was volunteering at the front desk. That's what I was volunteering. So I volunteered. So the next day I went back to Baltimore, because I was living at that guy's house that we had a relationship with. But thank God he wasn't the one for me. So when I came back, my mom told me that I needed. So anyway, so I came back to Baltimore, and then a few days later it was actually time to close the school and close like the building and everything, in preparation of the next semester, the fall semester in August. So I went back home, and since there was no school fees, I basically just stayed home. Okay, so this is what happened. So when I came back home, my mom told me there was a man that was looking for me, and I'm like, so I was like, who was the man? And my mom told me the name, and they were like, okay, this person told you to call them because they want to talk to you. So I was like, okay. So I called the person, and when I called the person, I talked with the person on the phone. Told me, oh, I can teach you how to conduct the instruments, like the box that they use in church, like the controller of the mics and whatever. I forget what you gotta call that. I don't know what you call that, but that thing that usually controls the mics in the front, controls the musicals, controls the guitar, controls everything. So I said, okay. So that Sunday I went to church, and the guy was there. I said hi to him, every day. He told me, oh, this is the machine that I want to teach you how to use. I said, okay. So during that moment, the guy, we were friends. Like, he was getting to know me and stuff like that. And then and that time I was also looking for a job as a babysitter. So at that time, so I was looking for a job. So I got a job as a babysitter. So I babysat for this woman with her kids. And also at that time, since of what was going on with me, I decided that I was going to leave home, because I felt like whenever I was in that house, I would have like traumatic issues, traumatic, really bad memories in that house and stuff. Like, whenever I saw my mom's husband, I would be pissed off. Sometimes I would just get angry, and then sometimes my mom would be like, one time I got so pissed off, something happened. I don't really recall what happened. I think because I was taking my little sister at school at that time, and I guess she wanna get ready or whatever. So I was like, oh, we gotta get ready, gotta go to school. And then I don't know what happened in between, and I got so mad, and I told my moms, I was like, I still remember what this guy did to me, whatever. And then my mom was like, oh, Pauline, you're so stupid. I was so pissed off. I slammed the door and I left, and I called my aunt. I was crying on the phone. She told me I was stupid, and then the guy was like, oh, that's already the past, you should just forget about it. But the problem is, people don't understand, when you go through these abuse, like, it doesn't stop there. Like, you get pissed, like, things, you start thinking about it, you get pissed when you see them, you're just pissed off, like, you're so angry. So that is one of the things that I was going through. So at this point, I decided that I was gonna leave that house. So I packed my clothes, packed a suitcase. My mom was in the living room. She didn't say nothing. She didn't even stop me. She just looked at me and whatever. So anyway, so I picked up my suitcase and I left, and I decided to live in the house that I was babysitting the ladies, boys, the young boys. So I was living there. And the funny thing is, before that, my aunt had a dream that I was leaving home with a suitcase, the same suitcase that I had, the brown suitcase. She literally had a dream that I was leaving the house with a suitcase with clothes and everything, and my mom never said anything. She never asked me, where you going? She just looked at me leaving the house, and I had like a mini skirt, like a jean mini skirt or whatever. But anyways, I left. So when I left, I started working there, and at this time, the person who told my mom that the person who told my mom for me to call him so he can talk to me is now my husband, right? And prior to that, my aunt had a dream that there was a man who was coming to play the keyboard in that church. And that man, after a couple months, he left. And when he was leaving with me. Okay, so my aunt told my mom that dream, and she didn't believe it. So a time came where I decided that it was like, things were so bad. Like, people were literally in that church. I was 23 years old, almost 24. So people in that church, when they knew that I was we're not in a relationship, like, we were in a friend zone with with my husband at that time, they started making up these stories that he was this, he was that, and so they wanted to come and the pastor wanted to have a meeting with him and tell him that, you know, this girl, she's really young and you're older than her, you know, you may use her or whatever, blah 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 blah. So there was like a lot of scandal in that church, and I was like, and so they called a meeting at that time. One time I went to this meeting they had in that church, and there was this lady, she was just saying all these things, and I got pissed off, and I got up, like I had anger, you know, I had like bursts of anger, like my heart like it was boiling, like you can't punch nobody, you can't do anything. So what I did was I just got up and I told my mom to drop me off to the lady's house, the person that I was working for, that I was babysitting. Like seriously, like I'm sweating. I called my husband at that time, he was just a friend or whatever, and I told him to come pick me up. He came pick me up, and he went back to the house, and I told him everything that had happened. Now the next day, this pastor calls him and tells him that, oh, you know, you'll never marry her, da 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 da, you know, she'll never be your wife, blah 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 blah. And I don't know what, I don't know, I'm not sure what my husband said at that time. I never paid attention. And so that's how I got off there. So I was living with my husband, my husband. That time he was just a friend. We were living together just like that, okay? So, oh my God. So life went on, and you know, and then we started having issues as we lived, you know, at this time, you know, everything has cooled off and everything. I gave birth, well, and then we got married. Then, you know, I gave birth to my son. Then I gave birth to my second son. I gave birth to my third son. So, and during my pregnancies, I was having so much trouble with my pregnancies. Like all my pregnancies were considered like danger zones, so I had to like be on bed rest or whatever. But I didn't listen to the doctor. Like I was over here cleaning the house, doing all kind of things, like everything you could think of, I was doing it. And then on top of that, sometimes whenever I ate, I would feel throwing up. So I would always throw up. I would never keep anything in my mouth. So all my pregnancies, they were like considered like so high risk pregnancies. Yes, to the point where I had to go to the hospital, and they would give me like medicines in order for me to eat and all that stuff. My third son, I had a placenta abruption. I don't know how even that happened. And then so me and my husband, we prayed because now I'm married. We prayed, and miraculously the placenta abruption was no more. The doctor was like, oh my God, the placenta is back to normal. You don't have a cut, you don't have nose, it's not cut no more. It's basically the baby's actually not getting food, getting nutrients and everything. So at this time, like my husband and I, we started going through like bad marriage. Like I was getting pissed off all the time. Like I feel like I was doing all the work, like all the house chores. But that time he was working anyways, but I feel like he wasn't helping me. Like my hormones were everywhere. And then on top of that, there was this lady that was going to our church at that time. We were going to a different church at that time, and I feel like this lady was attracted to him, and I could sense it because I could see, you understand? But he wasn't in denial. So I was so pissed off. Like I would be so insecure sometimes. Like I feel like what is this? Like I'm only like 26 years old and I'm going through all this crap. So now it came to the point where like I wanted to leave the marriage. Like I wanted to call it off. Like I didn't want to be here no more. I told him I wanted a divorce and everything. Like I wanted to get a divorce, everything. Like everything was, it was just discombobulation, like everything just discombobulation and stuff like that. So at one time, like God actually came. This is where like God saved, like he came to the rescue, to the point where like I was on the verge of like leaving the marriage, like seriously. And then one time like God spoke to my husband and told him that, you know, this is your wife, do not leave her, she is your wife. And he heard that, like he heard it verbally, like God actually spoke to him verbally. And one time I was actually, at that time I was having like these weird dreams. Like I'm seeing this lady in the dream, and she was like she was doing some, like she was working on a spell or something, and she looked so scary, and she had this weird laugh, like ha 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 ha, like. And I woke up and I was like, my heart was pumping. And that time during that time, like me and my husband, we were not in a good position. So he would just look at me and he would just go back to sleep, and I would just go back to sleep. And then sometimes I would like have sometimes I would get so angry and I would go sleep. He would snore and like it would bother me so much. Like I would get so pissed, like it just bothered me. So I would leave here and go to the other bedroom and I would try to sleep there. And when I slept in the other bedroom, like I felt there was a presence in our bedroom, like a dark presence. Like I felt like what do you call it, like when I sleep I could feel someone breathing on my ear, like, and like hairs everywhere, like I could touch and I could feel like hair. And I would wake up and I would run back to the bedroom. I would run back up here in the bed and I would sleep good. One time same thing happened. He was snoring and I went to the living room and I slept there, and then I heard a voice, and the voice used my husband's voice, and he was like, do you wanna do this? And for some reason I heard it was sex or whatever, but I could sense, oh, that's not him, because I left him in the bedroom. What is it? But like I could sense something is not. So I woke up again, I ran back in the bedroom and I slept good. And then another time he started snoring again and I was like, oh my god. And I got up, I went to the other bedroom, and I could feel this. I could feel like a breathing right next to me, like heavy breathing, and there was like hair everywhere. Like, you know, when you turn like this and you trying to turn, you could feel like hairs. And I woke up, and this is like reality. You know, I'm sleeping, but I don't know how to explain, but I woke up and I came back to sleep again. Then one time I was sleeping over it, and I could, when I was asleep, I had a dream where like these creatures, they were like pulling me in, like they were pulling me so I can go under the bed, I guess, to go to the underworld or whatever. They were pulling me in, but you know, for some reason I woke up, you know, so it was terrible. And then the other thing that I was suffering from was I couldn't go to the beach, guys. One thing I couldn't do is I couldn't go to the beach. I couldn't go to the lake. I couldn't go to the beach, because whenever I went to these natural bodies of water, like I would feel like a vibration, like trying to pull me in the water. And then but then something else would come in and push me off the shore, and I felt like that was an angel. Like God had sent an angel to like push me push me out from the shore of the ocean. Like if I went to like a man-made lake or a man-made something, that would never happen. Like it wouldn't happen. So this thing was spiritual, so that means I had like so many demons. So anyways, so one time we were in a very bad place in my marriage, and now I was on the verge of, like, I had already made a plan. I want to leave, like, seriously. And then that's when God spoke to my husband and told him, no, don't leave your wife. This is your wife. Do not leave her. And so he listened, and he was also confused at the same time, pissed off and everything. And on top of that, I was like, seriously, like those years between 2006, 15, 16, and 17, I was going through a whole lot. I was getting sick all the time. I was getting strep throat to the point where I'm going to the hospital every 2 months. I'm going to the hospital because it's strep throat, to the point where I feel like I was gonna die. And they would give me whatever that is, you know, they would give me those pills and it would be better. 2 months later, I'm getting strep throat. So it was like terrible, guys, very bad. I would get pains in my vagina, my cervix, whatever, inside in there. I would get so much pain to the point where like there was no marital affairs, because it was that bad. So one day, this is where everything came to a halt. One day I was asleep. I had a dream where this man came to the bedroom. It was a dark man, very like an old man came to the bedroom, and he was like, you know, I can give you powers on your legs. I can give you powers on your legs. I can give you powers if you want. But your husband has the power to save you, but he doesn't want to. And then that's when I woke up, and I woke him up. I was like, oh, I just had this weird dream, and there was a man that just came into a bedroom right now, and it was so real, guys. I'm not even kidding. It was so real. The man came, he opened that door, and he owned the house. Like seriously, he just came in, opened it, and walked through in, and he told me that. So So I did this, and I woke him up, and I told him, oh, there's a man that just came in the bedroom, and he told me that you have the power to save me, but you just don't want to say, you just don't want to do it. So that's when like something clicked in his mind. Like my husband, something clicked in his mind. He was like, oh. So he started praying for me. So he started praying, because I can't show you. I was there on the bed, and he started praying for me. Started praying. When he started praying, oh my God, like things, oh my God, my voice changed. Like demons started manifesting. Like, yes. So all right, guys. So I'm gonna leave it here, because now I'm at 27 minutes and 14 seconds. So I'm gonna leave it here, and I will. Next time when I come in, when I come in next time, it's going to be my deliverance story. And guys, stay tuned for my next part, which will be totally like my deliverance. And then after that, I will have series on where like I will tell you what happened after my deliverance, what I went through, the attacks that I was going through. So guys, now it's almost the end of my series. So guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on my next part number 5, I believe. All right, guys, bye bye.